Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome. We don't think we have anyone yet, so we're just going to kind of chat a bit. I'm amazed that this is going live today. I'm not going to lie, because I did not think I was finishing this book yesterday. Oh no, Tori's frozen. Tori. We seem to be having some technical issues. Hello. We're having technical issues at the moment. Tori is frozen, and oh, I don't know what to do right now. Abu. Yeah, I just got a load of crying faces from Tori. We're gonna try and sort this. She's gonna see if she needs to move upstairs. I'm just gonna kind of talk. I think it's only me and Becca, so hi Becca, I miss you. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about A Coat, Wings and Ruin today. I'm also going to apologize because my neighbors are doing some hammering. Hi. Yeah, we've got neighbors doing some form of work next door. So apologies if you can hear just random like thuds. But we trying. But yeah, thank you for joining. If you're joining, this is just me. Hi. Feels weird being all big screen. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I don't have anything to say. I'm just talking out into the void. Hopefully the void doesn't talk back, because that would not be good. But yeah. It's cold enough I can wear a jumper today, which is a bit weird. It's been really, really nice all day, and then it like really cooled down, but it's been like cool, then it was warm, then it was cool again, and I was like, I appreciate you, like, very much. But yeah, so I'm wearing a jumper, but it's got like, because it's got the sleeve bits, it's cooler than it could be, so it's like, it's nice. But yeah, how is everyone doing? Even though it's just Becca. I love this for you. Like, appreciate that this is like totally your vibe. Definitely not my vibe, but I love it for you. Also, apologies, because I know that you were just settling down to like do the Christmassy thing, and then you went, oh, I have to like switch to war. To war. But yeah. Again, don't know what to say right now. Just waiting for Tori to come back. Hopefully it doesn't take her too long to get any things sorted. Yeah. We're just kind of chilling. It does mean that you get to wear your Critical Role Christmas jumper. I'm so excited for you, and a little bit jealous. I really want a Christmas jumper from Critical Role, but also they're so expensive. I should have gotten one when it was on sale. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. But yeah, we're going to be talking. Just in case anyone's here who, I mean, I know there's not, but like anyone. You with your eye emojis. But yeah, anyone who doesn't know already, we will be talking spoilers about this book, all of the previous books, and all of Sarah J. Maas's other books that do not include any after this, or any of the Crescent City books. But this and Throne of Glass is all up for grabs. So apologies if you get spoiled. You have been warned. There will be more warnings throughout if anyone joins. But yeah, we're going to be talking. I really enjoyed this book so far. Like so far, I really enjoyed this book on reread because this is not my favorite series, but I really really enjoyed it, and it reminded me how good this series can be and why I love this series after you get over book one, because book one is still terrible. But yeah, I also used my Amran bookmark because obviously I also have other bookmarks, just like casually thingy. Oh, hello, Tori.
I hate my internet.
It is not fun. Don't worry, I just kind of babbled.
It was working until we hit go live, and then it just froze.
Of course
And
it
I
did.
could hear you like a robot, and I couldn't see or hear me, and I was like,
Oh no.
I should have moved. I even said to you, I'm trying this so I don't have to move, and I should have just.
You put it out into the world and the world bit back.
I did. I'm sorry.
Yes, how dare you? How dare you have issues with your internet?
I'm here now.
Yeah. Agree. And also, hi Tori.
Hey.
So yeah, we are going to be talking. Oh, we have more viewers now. Yay. Hi people. Welcome. This is the live for ACOWAR Wings and Ruin. As per usual, we will be having lots of spoilers for this book, the previous books, and the Throne of Glass series if they come into play. I don't think that they will, but if there is any comment on them, you have been warned that we are not going to. And as per usual, I will be policing the comments in the sense of Tori has not read any of these books before, so Tori does not know anything going forward. So if you comment anything that could potentially be a spoiler for the last two books that we have out of this series, or anything else in the Sarah J. Maas world that Tori has not read, please be aware that I will be policing the comments and she will not be able to see them. So please, please, please be decent human beings. But yeah, how are you, Tori?
I'm okay now that I'm up here because I can hear
Yay.
you and see you, and I ate my tea really quickly. I should have just moved up here and got all sorted at the same time. Would have been simple.
Would have been
Downstairs has been working so well, and apparently it just doesn't like live shows.
Oh well. Not the end of the world.
Oh well, it's fine.
Right,
I'm here
cool.
now.
Yay. Again, apologies if you can hear hammering in the background. I don't know what
Neighbors
they're
like to choose the worst time.
doing. We're not going into it. But we are
going into this.
We are going into this, which is technically the first trilogy finished because this is its own trilogy.
Yes.
So, Tori, how did you rate it? And what are your thoughts?
5 stars. No, I read it and the last one last month. I think I finished one and I read the next one like 4 days later or something. Yeah, I just was not waiting.
I am very, very glad that you enjoyed this. So yeah, this was also a 5-star for me. This reread was a lot better than I was anticipating. Because I didn't love. Obviously, we know that my book one went down.
Yeah.
In written. Book two I enjoyed, but I will say like it was a bit of a slog, and I feel like this one kind of pulled me out a bit out of a reading slump. Which yay, love this for me.
I started it on the 23rd and finished it on the 24th.
Nice.
And I mean that's a chunky book to read in less than 2 days. Sorry, that's what I was on my phone for. I was trying to check the dates.
You're right. But yeah, so we're gonna kind of like go into this as per usual. It will probably be chaotic as anything because we talk about things and our brains don't work the same way. And also, I have had a slew of bad luck lately in the sense of just things have been going weird right now. So I'm just kind of rolling with the punches. So I do apologize for that. Hi, Jen.
I agree on the weird day and the weird weeks and such.
Yeah, it's been nonstop. And then it culminated in me having a flat tire yesterday, which not great when I had to drive all the way home.
No. I
So
still
great.
don't have my car back.
Oh God.
It's fine.
Oh.
I have a
Anyway,
car.
that's
It's
good.
fine.
That is good.
It's
Right.
fine.
Let's get away from the sad and depressing things. Okay, so we have this is very, very much true. I appreciate this. Jem, I'm just like this is gonna be great because we are literally talking about the third book in the
In a
series. So
trilogy.
you have no idea what's going on because I know that I think you DNF'd halfway through Mist and Fury, if I'm believing correctly. I think that's the one that you DNF'd, and I'm like, okay, cool.
At least she knows the general names. Maybe.
Maybe there's a
Maybe.
lot of names in this one. I'm not
There's
going to be able
so
to
many
remember them
people.
all. But yeah, so this is yes, that is ACOMAF. It's the second book. But yeah, so this is ACOWAR, which is just war. I know you didn't mean to, but I know that you did, and it's fine. Do not worry. So I don't even know where to start with this because like we can start from the beginning. So I
I
feel
don't
like
even know what the end of ACOMAF and the start of this is, so you
okay,
can help.
okay, so for mainly Jem's point of view, the end of
Yeah, this will be fun.
yeah, this is gonna be interesting. How to badly explain a book. End of ACOMAF, we have realized that like things need to when King of Highburn appears, and we have to sort it. Also, Tamlin's been a dick. What's
I mean,
what's
he was
new?
a dick the whole way through the second book.
Yeah, but he's very, very much a dick. So Nestor and Elaine are chucked into the cauldron. They become Fae. And then Feyre pretends that she has been spelled by Rhys to be in love with him, and then pretends and goes back to the Spring Court
Spring Court.
in hopes to infiltrate what they like
Are
infiltrate their
doing
enemy.
and planning. Yeah.
We also find out that Elaine is Lucian's mate, and so then she knows she's got leverage over that. And yeah, we know that Tamlin sold them out to Highburn and like just to get her back and this, that, and the other. And it's all very messy. It's all very messy.
I know
So
Becca's stress comment wasn't about it, but it also could be about it.
yeah, yeah. So then we come to the Court Wings and Ruin, which starts with a Rhysand chapter.
Yeah, a little flashback.
A little flashback. And then it then goes back to Feyre, and we kind of see her. It definitely could work for this too. Yeah. We also got lots of happy, lovey emojis from Jem. So we go back to Feyre, and Feyre is kind of laying dormant in the Spring Court, pretending to be all innocent and lovely and painting really like
I just
like
love that everything that she paints, she has like a totally other image in her mind of what she's like
yeah.
actually painting. I just loved it.
She is literally painting her own narrative, and it's great.
And she hates being back there with a passion.
Hello. Do not worry, you don't need to talk. I hope that you were okay. And thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Tamlin did yeah. It's Jem. We've said on this one. When we have reread this book, it's really interesting. Obviously, Tori hasn't read it before, but it's been really interesting to read the first book and realize how much manipulation is in that first book. Because when you like read it, you go, oh, he was not a good person. It was really interesting to read. But yeah, so we are back in the Spring Court, and Tamlin's being Tamlin and overprotective, but He's trying not to be overprotective. And Lucian is just sus. He is like, I do not believe a fucking word that you say, Thera, but I'm not going to say that out loud. We're just going to pretend. Yeah, 100%. 100%. He showed his face.
Literally when the mask came off.
Oh god, it was ridiculous. But I feel like the I feel as if the first chunk of this book when she's in the spring court is so interesting. It is some of my favorite because you get to see just how aggressive Thera can be in like and how underhanded she is, and like she's a really, really good like match to Reese.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons I love her as a character is she does not like we'll go into this more because we get to the Ouroboros, which is in and in itself an amazing thing. But it's really interesting because she isn't afraid to do shit that people you wouldn't consider good. She's not a like one of my favorite things about Sarah J. Maas's characters are they are messy, and she's really messy. And the
Also
start
not
of this
afraid to
book,
stick up for like what she knows needs to happen,
yeah,
even if she has to like tiptoe and be nice and wear dresses and hate everything about it while she does it.
and the way she weaves in the thing, so like when everything's happening, like she is planting seeds of distrust for Tamlin in all of his sentries. She is making sure that everything is going to plan. And she also feels like guilty about things. So like she knows that people are going to die from it, and she's still kind of like, and she feels that guilt, but she knows it's for the greater good. And
Sorry, I have a
it's
cat.
yes, how
Just
dare you
to
have a cat?
give warning for, attention in this direction.
um but I think it's really, really
I
interesting
just called
because
the other one by doing that. I don't know how the fuck I did that. Sorry.
I think it's really, really interesting because like we have this and you see like everything.
I totally read that as God. Not gonna lie.
No good. Just reference from it's not Shaun of the Dead, it's Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz.
That's fair. I just read it as Greater God, and I was just thinking Reese over Tamlin. Not gonna lie.
No. Uh, we have this like so what did you think was going to happen in the first bit, or like did you have any idea what we or did
I
you just kind of
hoped.
go with the flow?
I mean, I'll be honest. I go with the flow in most books because I can't figure out where shit goes, and if I try, I'm never right. Or at least like 9 times out of 10, I'm never right on anything. So I don't tend to try, to be fair. Um, but I did think that Lucian was going to have more of a backbone to start with. He was kind of pissing me off in the first bit because a lot of the time, yes, they were both sus about each other, which is fair because obviously, she's been at night court for whatever. Um, but at the same time, it was like every time she was like, Tamlin, come on, let me out, let me go, let me do something. It wasn't as simple as, I don't know. I feel like Lucian could have either at least tried to make an actual fucking excuse that didn't sound just that, oh, he's trying to be better. Like, it just was very much, I'm making excuses for the dude, and I get it. Like, he's in that court and blah, blah, blah. But, like, if he
I
tried a bit better, I feel like they would have got a bit further. Does that
I
make sense?
think you have the issue of, and I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I think you have the issue of Lucian is very much in the sense of, well, Tamlin did all of this to help me, so he's a
Yeah.
good guy, and he can't see past that. And unfortunately, or he can even forgive some of the things he does, like in the sense of like, I'm not being funny, like I know that there's a lot of people like times that you will have a friend who's a little like doing crappy things, and you're like, but they are really nice to me, so like why does it matter? And it's like, no, after a while you've got to kind of get like you've got
Yeah.
to grow up here, and you've got to be like, no, actually, like this isn't
I get
okay.
it. I do genuinely think if some of that had been towards him, he would have stood up a bit more for himself, if that makes sense. And I do think it took it until it got to like involving more people for there to, you know, be that
I
backlash
don't
later on and stuff.
I don't
But
even think that he would. I think it was just because obviously, like, so he got rescued by Tamlin all those years ago. Like,
yeah,
Tamlin took him in. Tamlin is the only person he has in that sense. Like, it's really sad because it's like our little boy has not got anyone, and so like he doesn't have anywhere to
he
turn.
could if he does better.
Well, no, I know, but like,
Right
you
now,
know what I
I
mean?
know,
Because like
I know.
the whole thing of the Night Court is that no one knows that Night Court is actually nice.
Oh no, I mean with his biological dad. It's someone that
Well,
has the biological dad
yes.
that nobody knows who, but
Yes.
yeah.
We'll
Oh
we'll we'll
my
get to
god,
that
I thought
later,
I
but
had totally fucked something up there.
no,
I
no,
thought I got
no,
the
no.
wrong person.
I
No,
kind of
that
paused and
that
I was
was
like,
the
"Oh, wait,
line I
no,
was
he's"
going down. Not
yeah.
even thinking Night Court. Um, but yeah,
But
I
also,
mean,
no one knows that yet, though. So,
no,
like,
no, I know that, but I'm very like when you ask me at the end, what are you curious about? I'm hoping that that is something.
well,
There you go. I'm telling you it now because let's face it, if I don't tell you now, I will forget.
okay, we're already talking about Lucian, so let's talk about it. We get introduced to a new character, Helion, the High Lord of the Day
Autumn
Court.
Decort? I'm still not going to be able to find his fucking name though, am I? I'd have to Google it, and I don't want to Google.
I'll Google. I'm not
Yeah,
afraid of Google. I don't need to be
yeah,
afraid
I'm
of
not
Google.
touching Google though. I've got to this point, like I've done 11 books, and I have found no spoilers.
Hey, Emma.
Hi, darling. I have two cats that are fighting, so I apologize.
Helion is the High Lord of the Day Court.
Decor.
Day Court. So, um, yeah, again, spoilers. If you don't want to know, please feel free to piss off. Um, it's kind of like like, there is this thing of like Helion is this amazing. Like, I know that, so when this book first came out, there was a lot of hate for Helion in the sense of it was bad bisexual rep because he wants to sleep with everyone, and that's not what bisexuals are. Some bisexuals are. I'm just saying.
I've been there. I've been there. I'm not there now, but I've been there.
And also, like, if he wants threesomes, he wants threesomes. Like, just let the man or the male enjoy his life.
Yeah. And it's
But
not like people don't know what's happening. Like, hopefully they'll be on
yeah,
the same bloody bed. Like,
and also, if it's all consensual, who cares? Anyway,
go
so
for it.
Helion, it's revealed that Helion had a interaction with the Autumn Court.
I think that's where I'm getting confused. I'm sure it's his brothers are Autumn Court.
Yeah, I think he's Autumn Court.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it's
Autumn
Autumn.
Court.
Yeah,
Autumn.
because that's where I'm getting confused with Autumn and Day.
100%, but I know that a lot of people turned around in it, like when this book first came out, and said it was really, really bad bisexual rep because like all bisexuals have to be like you know how people get
Yeah.
about things like that. If it's not perfect representation, then they're not happy, which is hilarious because sexuality is a spectrum and there are so many different types of sexuality. And anyway, so so he had an affair with the wife of the High Lord of Autumn's wife, and then
Yep.
shortly after there was a child, and when you look at them they kind of look
Da-da-da.
similar, and it's almost a bit like a kind of, and again spoilers for Throne of Glass, Aedion finding out about his father. Oh no, what a shock. But obviously Lucian didn't know that
Yeah.
his dad was not his dad. But yeah, so
His
that
dad
is
was
kind
an
of,
asshole.
yeah, so that's kind of like put in there, and it's like, what the fuck. I will say I love Helion. I think Helion is
I really
great. I
liked
think,
Julian as much as we saw of him. I
yeah,
had no
he's,
issues with him. I had no issues with his sexuality or what he was doing. Like, it felt honest to what I've done in the past as someone that's bi. Like,
I also think
I
like
had no issues with it.
yeah, I also I remember people saying that stuff, and I was like, it made no sense to me because I was like, it's a character, like
Yeah.
we
But also,
it's really
if you
difficult.
take people that are straight, like you have people that wait till they're married and will sleep with one person in their whole life, and then you have people who sleep with tons of people before they get married and will still have affairs after, or might be open and poly even if they're married. Like there's so many things being straight happens, never mind anything else. Like
Yeah, and I think the
it's
issue.
such a hard thing to quantify in a book. Qualify.
Well, I think the issue is as well, like it's kind of assuming that there is one box for bisexuals, and or that people are stupid enough to think that there is only one box for bisexuals, and we almost fit into that one single box. No, Helion is a guy who likes to sleep with people, and you know what? Props to you. Like,
Good on him.
I mean, the cheating I don't condone. The
No,
cheating I don't condone. But like, also that woman needs to get out of that marriage, because that marriage just is not well. That
that's toxic.
yeah, that entire situation was not good. But yeah, so we kind of talking about Helium because we get to see a lot of the High Lords, but he's kind of the main one that we get to like really see, and he's real
I
cool. I
enjoyed
really
getting
like
to
him.
go around the different courts. I will admit I did have my book open on the map quite a lot because my brain could not keep up. But I mean, that's fair. My brain doesn't really like maps at the best of times. It loves a map, but it doesn't remember a map.
I am sending you the current High Lords and Ladies because
Perfect. I feel like that will help this conversation.
I am just making sure that there is no spoilers for later books, but I don't think there is. AKA, do any of them die? I don't know. I don't know.
It's okay. I'm probably starting the next one like tomorrow. To be fair, no, I need to read Fire Study because I have a life for that and I still have not read that book. I need to read that.
Welcome to my world. I finished this yesterday.
Yeah, I did the opposite. Normally it's me finishing it the week of the live, but this time I wasn't waiting because
It's usually both of us.
it is. To be fair, I was trying to call myself out over you, but okay.
No, I'm good. I'm good calling myself out. Okay, so we have that. So apart from, were you expecting that? Were you, was that a big like shock?
Seeing all
I
of the like as much of the High Lords,
no, the Helian Lucian thing.
the Helium thing, yes, especially being in a. Sorry, especially me. I don't know. It's been a day, okay. Especially with it being in a different court. Like we've heard quite a lot in the last 2 books about his dad and his brothers hating him, about not necessarily I don't think about how much his mum and him had a bad relationship, unless I've forgotten it. But I remember a lot about, the bad situation between his brothers and his dad. And even when we've seen snippets of his brothers, they've been horrendous. Um so finding out that he's got a different dad who's lovely, and you're just like, oh, what would you have turned out like if you'd been with your actual dad? And also, like, it just could have been so different for him
Yeah.
and for his mum. But obviously things have turned out the way it is, so it'll be interesting to find out if they come together, because technically, could he not fuck off and leave his brothers to it and go to Autumn and be like an Autumnere?
Autumn.
Dayer, not Autumn. He's already come from Autumn. Like he's basically said no to Autumn already, right? By going to Spring, or that's
I
the way
think it's
I've
more
read it. Or can he go back?
he was exiled, kind of, wasn't he?
Yeah. So technically, my thought is if he finds out about the dad, then he could go to Autumn. Today, Jesus Christ, Tori, say the right fucking thing. Sorry, my brain is not having a good day today. I apologize ahead of time. Yeah, like he could potentially go further north today. That's what I mean. He could go today.
The issue
We're
you also
getting there.
have, the issue you also have is he doesn't want to go too far from Elaine.
But she's going to be a knight, hopefully, depending if she goes there or if she goes home. The whole thing now depends on where everybody ends up, like, falling. It's kind of like
Yeah.
you've thrown a dice and you don't know where people are going to end up. Because if Elaine does end up a knight, Day is right there. Like, it is just across the border, nice and close to Dad, close to sister, like maybe get some friendship back. But if she ends up across the wall again, then it's like as far as you can get.
Yeah, because there is kind of like a little bit of a hint of fairies and humans potentially like reconciling a little bit and having a
I love. Oh
treaty.
my.
And
Sorry, I know
so
that's right at the end, but it was. I was so close to being like, I should go to bed. We did not.
I was driving home and I actually had to put the audiobook on because I was like, there's no way I'm going to finish this if I don't. So I was like half driving, half like listening, which was really, really good because I couldn't cry.
Yeah.
So okay, let's kind of swoop back because we kind of have jumped a million steps ahead. So
Welcome to Lives with Smash and Tori.
so we're going back to Spring Court.
Yes.
And I want to talk about one of the most satisfying, but also one of the grossest parts of this book. And that is the absolute beast that Feyre is with Ianthe.
I hate Ianthe.
Everyone hates Ianthe. Ianthe deserves to be hated.
I hate Ianthe. I
But
am not sad that she is dead.
I
At
will
all.
say the part where she smashes Ianthe's hands to smithereens is both absolutely disgusting and
Yep.
horrific, and just like the fact that it's like, oh, it's squelching, and then it crunched, and then it and just like it's gross, but also she deserved it, and it was so satisfying because she needed to die. This, yep. And yeah, look, here's the thing. I think that it's really, really good when you can get me this irate about a character. You are writing a good character. Is she a good character in the sense of
Good and
like
evil?
good?
No.
She is a horrible, horrible, horrible person, and she deserved every single thing that she got in the end.
Yep.
I'm just saying also, yeah. But did you kind of see Feyre being that brutal, or did you kind of not think that she was going to get that far?
I think the only person she probably would have got that angry with was Ianthe. Before obviously it went into like full born like war and actually like fighting for survival. Just because of what she'd obviously done already. Yes, okay, she hated Tamlin, but I think with Tamlin she was just like, fuck off, like you're not even worth my time level. Where with Ianthe it was like, you have physically destroyed shit, like you need to like it was just this whole other level, especially after no, she
I
just
also,
needs to die. She needed to
yeah,
die so much quicker, but also the way that she died was so satisfying. And I know that I also didn't think that that's satisfying because she goes into the woods and into the hut and gets stuck. But like, it was so good, and I probably shouldn't have laughed at that, but I
no,
laughed.
it was great. Going back to it, I think it also kind of like helps the fact that like Ianthe was still like, she was trying to reclaim all of her like previous like status. So she was coming in and she was saying stuff, and it was very obvious that she was manipulating. And Feyre was just like, I am not being manipulated by you this time, bitch.
Nope,
And she wasn't. And she 100% like was a badass bitch. And yeah.
I love it. I could
Yeah, we
totally
have
just start this book again tomorrow.
I mean you can, but like
I'll move on to the next one. It's okay, but like, I could. I still
yeah.
think I'm a Throne of Glass girly though.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
like I
Glass.
enjoy it and I really like it when I'm reading it. But if you were to ask me which one of the two I'd want to reread, even though the other one's longer, I would still go back. So far,
Yeah.
I know there's more books, but like
No, I
where we're
agree.
at,
I agree. I think the Throne of Glass is more fantasy over romance. It's still very heavy on the romance, but it's more fantasy, whereas this is more romance than fantasy.
yeah. Me and Mickey were
Um,
talking about it the weekend, and she's more ACOTAR,
mhm. It's
which
interesting.
is
I
fair.
know I know a lot of people who are, and it's just it's not for me personally. I love them. I love them. But there
I
is
would take
something
an
special
8-book
about
reread.
there is something special about Throne of Glass, in my opinion. Anyway, going back to this. So Feyre runs. Because I don't like, obviously there's the sentry. We can talk about the sentries and how I agree. We can talk about how the sentries are like,
Oh, Farah fucked fucked Tamlin over, which kind of
yeah.
then came back and bit her in the ass later. Not gonna lie.
But at
Not
the same
really. Like, it
time,
could have been worse. Let's face it. It could have been much worse.
the thing is, like, it. My question is, I don't know if that would have happened organically or not, because the way that Tamlin was going on, surely his sentries were starting to kind of feel like, whoa, this is getting a bit much. This is getting a bit ridiculous. Tamlin's letting Ianthe walk all over us. Like, he's not letting us
Yeah.
this, that, and the other. Like,
I
there's,
feel like they would have been questioning shit anyway, and she
yeah,
just was like the little like prod that helped tumble it.
yeah,
But I don't know if without the prod it would have worked, because it's the same kind of thing as if Lucian
yeah,
didn't turn his back, then maybe like Tam had done stuff for all of them.
yeah.
But it was very interesting, especially when they then realized they needed them all together, and she was like, "Oh shit, how much damage did I do to their sentries and like their equivalent of like
But
protecting the wall and stuff?"
I also think that you had Tamlin doing the manipulation thing of like, well, this is what you did. This is what he never took any like credit for, well, he didn't take any blame for everything that he did, because a lot of the stuff that he did was set the ball in motion. She just gave it a little bit of a nudge.
What do you
Um
mean? Tamlin is perfect. To be fair, I was waiting for you to mute me. That's better.
no, it was like, we're not even joking about that. But yeah, we had the
But
sentries.
the escape was awesome. Like, I
Yeah.
genuinely could not put the book down at that point either.
Um going back to the centuries, I think it's really, really interesting, because like, obviously all Feyre did was give him back his memories. That's all she did. And
Yep.
that's when things started to crumble. Don't get me wrong, obviously she went back to people and were like, are you okay? And she was, here's the thing, Feyre was as manipulative as the rest of them. And she learned how to play the game, oh excuse me, well. But like, she did it for the right reasons. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But yeah, the escape was incredible. The fact that she just stayed for Lucian, like, oh,
When
because
he
she,
turned up, I was like, fuck off. Do not get involved. Like, you need to go away. You are going to hinder her. You are going to get in the way. Um, and then he got in the way. Big
he did.
shock.
Um, but also
Then his
props to her for
brothers
not
got
letting
even
him, like,
more
keep
in the
him.
way.
Yeah, but like, props to her for not leaving him with Ianthe.
Oh god, yeah.
We also learned about the Fading, which was like a big thing, because like, oh my god, that was horrifying. Did not like
Yeah.
that. So that obviously dampened the powers and made it very difficult for them. But gave them like an understanding of what was going to happen later on in the book.
Yeah.
Because obviously that was a big thing that Highburn used, was the Fabin. So at least this was
Absolute
like a little bit of
asshole.
warning.
Like, I know we say Ianthe is an asshole, but like, there's like levels of assholery. Is that a
I
word?
don't
Are we going with it? I don't know.
I don't know.
But like, Highburn is like on a level of his own. Like, the just the shit he puts them all through
Yeah.
is, I mean, don't get me wrong. At the same time, part of me thinks 1-to-1 shittiness is actually worse, because you know the person you're causing it to. Where if you're
I
doing it as a war, you don't know who you're actually hurting, or like if somebody dies, you don't know who that affects. Where if I was to hurt like X 1-to-1, you can see the reaction.
I was about to
So
say, question for the
fair enough.
comments. Questions for the comments. Ianthe or the King of Highburn? Who do you think is the bigger asshole? Because I'm curious. But I don't think you get worse than Ianthe. Like, don't get me wrong, Highburn's terrible. He is horrific, but he's also a bit like a Panto villain.
Yeah, my issue with him is obviously he's the one that causes the most like devastation across the scale, but it's not actually him doing all of the damage. Like he has 1,001 soldiers or whatever fighting for him. They've all got individual shit, and like magic and stuff to fight. But obviously Anthe is literally doing it for herself.
Like she was the one who sold out Farah's sisters.
Yeah. Too hybrid though, but yeah, typical tyrant.
Okay, so we get to the kind of the escape. So we get to Lucian and Farah kind of like spatting and being like, look, we've got to work together, we've got to do this. We've got to get from here to the Night Court. They kind of start to actually communicate, which amazing. One of the things that Sarah J. Maas does not do well is communication. Like all of her characters are like, we're doing this plan, but no one knows what it is. And we had it with Elaine. We have it. Aelin, sorry. We have it with Aelin. We have it with Farah. We have it with Reese. Like the amount of people who just don't fucking communicate. Like just get your shit together
Does
and tell
Mara not
people
do
what you
it
want
too?
to do.
Is it Mara that does it? Which of
Not
the two
really.
girls was it? Mara or
Amryn.
Amryn?
Amryn had her own
Amryn. I was
idea.
like, it happened with one of the two. My brain has currently forgotten
Yeah.
which of the two.
No, more got
More
pissed off
death.
with Farah because Farah went to get the cereal.
Yes.
We do have a reveal with more, which I want to talk to you about, but we'll get to that in a bit. So Lucian and Farah kind of get on, and then we get to the Winter Court, where we have the battle on
A
the
lake.
ice.
That battle on the ice, literally, it reminded me of Narnia. Like,
Oh yeah,
have
kind of
any
seen
of
it.
you seen like the frozen fall and like they're fighting and then the beavers and the wolves try and cross and like it breaks up? Like, my brain doesn't see pictures. I have to like liken it to something to even begin to get something in my brain. And I was kind of seeing an adult magical version of that, and it was quite interesting because I was like, this is probably not what they're picturing, and it's probably really wrong. But I'll
No, I
take
love
it.
it. I love it.
Because it just like kept falling and cracking, and obviously they were trying to refreeze it as it was melting. It was good. I
We're
enjoyed
calling
that.
it
Like,
re-ice from now on.
honestly, my brain is sod. Like, it needs to fuck
You're
off
fine. You're
today.
fine.
It's honestly.
So we get Cassian and Azriel back,
We do.
and everyone in this scene is a badass. Everyone in this scene. The fact that Cassian is like subtly telling Farah how to fight, and then Farah's like dealing with it, and it just I love them so much. Like
That was one of my favorite fight scenes, I think.
I think this is the thing that I think is really, really interesting about these books is this is not my favorite series, and yet I have such a love for the characters. Some of the characters I do not like, but like the Inner Circle, adore the Inner Circle, adore the Inner Circle, absolutely love them.
I actually managed to open that at pretty much the right page.
Nice,
220.
nice. But yeah, so we have that, and then they go back to the Night Court. So, any other sweeping kind of thought for this part?
Eris is a dick.
Eris is a dick.
At this point, he's a dick. We know that we kind of find out more about him as it like opens up and stuff. But at this point, him and his brothers are absolute assholes.
Love this. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
I just love the family vibes in this book.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So then we get to the Night Court, and it's basically just like, let's plan shit and let's have a meeting and lots of things. And I'm not gonna lie, because this is a 700-page book, more or less. We're gonna kind of skip a lot because there is far too much. So I'm gonna kind of I'm trying to kind of keep it quite brief on the things that we talk about.
It's okay.
That part, the start of it is one of my favorite parts of the book, and then the rest of it is just kind of war, which is fine and it's great and it's fantastically written. But we
Can you
can just
hear
talk
her?
around this.
Can you hear her?
No,
Okay, that's fine, because she's been loud, and I'm just trying to figure out if you guys can hear her.
no, it's fine. I couldn't hear anything. So yeah, we have a lot of war. So we're not going to go through everything. But like we can talk through a few things. So one thing that I want to talk about is Lucian's parents. I mean, yeah, we've kind of tipped on this a little bit. Because yeah,
We did that already, didn't we?
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Or
had
have I forgotten something?
no. I'm wondering if she's talking about like his like dad. But we did talk about a lot of like with Helion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we yeah, no, we had a full thing of it
I
for the
got there.
agenda.
I got distracted instantly.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, Tori said about it, and we just went on a thing. Don't worry about it. You probably got distracted, which understandable. We ramble a lot. But yeah, so
Doesn't work on my
again,
screen, but you know. Thank you.
yeah. So like I said, I'm gonna
In
kind of.
amongst this bit, though, do we not start finding out about the fact that they are looking for the book? Is that not one of the first bits that they're like plotting?
I don't know.
I know the
Right.
book and the cauldron are like two of the first things that they zone in on.
I
I'm
had
trying
a
to like
thought.
think of
Can I
like,
have my
oh
thought
no,
out, please? Sorry, I keep on trying to say it, and then I keep on getting people trying to sidetrack me. So can I have my thought? So, one of the big things that we are sorry, got a message through. Right. One of the things that we kind of see is the bone carver. And I want to kind of come to the bone carver first off, because I feel as if the bone carver is kind of like a really important one, and we get to see like a little bit more about his character. And that's quite early on, but it's also kind of throughout.
yeah,
So do you want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about something else?
no, we can do him. No, definitely. Um, he's fucking creepy, especially because the fact that he changes his appearance to whoever he's talking to. Because the fact that like was it her and Reese that went in to see him the first time? No, her and Morin, then her and Reese.
Her and Reese, then her and Cassian.
Cassian, and then her herself. She went 3 times, but she always saw the same thing. But the others that went with her saw different things. Um, but the fact that it's like, is it you have to give them like a truth for a truth or something like to even get him talking is just the way he like goes about it. He's like, I don't really need to leave. I've got a nice hole here. I'm okay. And you're like, you could totally fucking leave there if you wanted to.
Yeah. I thought it was really, really interesting because it's the first time that you realize that like that is like she realizes that the boy face that he has is her child with Reese, and that's a thing.
I don't
Um,
think Reese sees him though, does he?
no, he sees
He
something
sees.
different.
She
He
got a
sees,
glimpse of the hopeful future. So cute.
yeah, he sees like an
Not an
Illyrian
old.
soldier or something. I think
Yeah,
I
it was
can't
an
remember.
older man or something, wasn't it, that he saw?
Yeah. Um, so you get this. Sorry, I'm gonna do this because my ADHD is flowing now. Sorry.
It's okay. Mine's already been there. This whole chat.
So you get that, and we also get like kind of like the what I'm gonna call the scary god trio.
I love them. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to love them, but
I
I
love
do.
them.
And
Yeah.
the fact that, okay, this is going to be like out of context, obviously, in order of story, it doesn't quite work, but we know that we go everywhere anyway. But like having him and having seen the bone carver a few times by this point is cool. Having been to the house and having got the ring last time And obviously she's like clawed her way out and she's like run away and like scrambled over the roof and shit. And then when she's gone back to see him this time, he's like, "You've seen my sister." Or was it the other way? Yeah, I'm sure it was him.
Other way around.
Was it to her that she smelled him?
It was when she went into the cottage before Ianthe died, and the weaver turned around and said, "You've seen my twin."
Yeah, and just the way that it's like, I couldn't remember which one saw which way, but I knew it was one of the two. Was like, "You saw my twin." The fact that you were then like, "Oh shit, okay, cool," and then you're like, "Well, if he can already get out of his prison, what's actually keeping her in hers?"
Magic.
Like, there has to be some level of breakability to this, but also the fact that she was so close. Wait, she doesn't make any sense. Sorry, Farah was so close to the cottage, but really they were trying to offer her away. Like Rhys was doing his whole background planning thing that SGM likes to do.
Really, really bad communication.
Because they both went, but they could have saved each other a lot of fucking bother.
And then you've also got Braxis, who is just scary as anything.
Lives in the bottom of a library, though. Like, I mean, that's like heaven. But apparently it's the scariest thing ever at the bottom of, like, forever. Like, the 3 monsters, I know they are monsters because they have, like, overwhelmingly old magics, and, like, they're probably the oldest things other than Amryn that's around. Maybe Highborn? I don't know who would come, like, level-wise. And some of the older guys who are from the First War and stuff. But, like, they powerful. Like, the fact that they managed to get all 3 of them on their side for the final battle, like, I know, as I say, we're skipping around, was just...
Yeah, no, 100%. And it was really nice to kind of see, like, those characters that seem to just be like these kind of creepy monsters be fleshed out a bit. Speaking of creepy monsters, because we've kind of touched on it, but we haven't, can we just pour one out for the cereal? Because that scene...
I was not expecting, after the first 2 books, to be as upset by that as I was. And I will put that out there. Like, no, this was not supposed to happen. And
yeah,
it's sad.
It is sad.
Big sad. Big sad. But also the fact that Freya wouldn't leave her, them, him, it. I can't remember what pronouns it was. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was very sad. It was the fact that, like, he was like that they were like, I think it's more of an it, but we're gonna go there because that's more.
It sounds better.
Yeah. They were very much like run, go, and the fact that they didn't speak to Ianthe, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But yeah.
I genuinely loved the way that the 3 like big bads that weren't big bads but were supposed to be like, you know, like the fairy tales you tell your kids to keep you in line. Like, they played such a big part in protecting the kids that they were trying to keep in line in the background. And I just loved that.
No, I get that. Yeah. Nesta and Elaine in this book are both annoyed and yet pulled on my heartstrings. I love Nesta's journey, however, in this one. I will say, I know a lot of people don't like Nesta in the sense of she's a bitch. I think she's great.
If that was my, like, line for characters, Manon would not be my favorite from Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
Like, I love all of the women in Throne of Glass, and almost all of them can be classified as bitchy at one point or another.
I wonder if people don't associate it in the same sense with Manon, though, because we are in her head.
Yeah, potentially.
So, like, Nesta in this one, we don't get to see her point of view, so we don't know what she's thinking. So she just comes off really, really stone cold and hard-hearted. I know Becca absolutely adores Nesta and has continuously loved Nesta. I don't think, like, I never understood why people didn't like Nesta, in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong. Do I think that Nesta and Elaine in the first book were atrocious? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And I just think that I just think that Nesta is a very, very different type of person. She's gone through a lot. Like, if you think about it, Vera did the most for that family, but she wasn't the only one who was affected by what happened in that family.
Yeah.
They all had the same growing up, apart from they obviously Nesta and Elaine grew up with more finery for a few more years.
Yep.
They all went and dealt with the same thing. So they've all got trauma that they just deal with in different ways. I like Nesta because I've been Nesta in some regards, so I feel her personally. Yeah.
I like Nesta. I think out of Nesta and Elaine, I like Nesta a bit better, but at the same time, I think Elaine just again dealt with her trauma very differently than Nesta did.
She didn't deal with her trauma.
No, I know that's why she dealt with it differently. She just boxed it up and chucked it away. But I'm hoping. I don't know, obviously, the next few books. Like, I'm assuming it's somewhat with the same group of characters since it's still a court of. Um, it'll obviously still be in the same world, but I don't know if it's the same timeline, if it's a continuation, etc. I'm assuming it is. I could be wrong. But I'm hoping we see them, deal with that trauma a bit more, and settle into being Fae properly.
Okay.
Just because as much as Nesta and Farah started to, I don't think Elaine did at all. She tried
So,
to hide her head in the sand.
speaking of Nesta, what did you think of Nesta and Cassian's thing?
I like the two of them together. They're so sassy.
I love the fact that they both kind of help each other, but also kind of hinder each other.
And
Like,
they don't want it to be, I don't know if nice is the right word, but when you've got that friend that is that bit like, not bitchy or catty, but like that just sharp, straight wit that Nesta has. Like, I feel like she just doesn't have any like fluff to it.
filter.
Like, yeah, like I fluff my shit up and like I will somewhat filter, but also like if I think I've like gonna hurt someone, like I'll fluff it up and then like talk for 1,000 years. Nesta doesn't have that, and I think it's fun how Cassian realized that and just kind of says the right thing to wield. Like, they just go back and forth, and it just was great listening to it. I don't know if that's just me, but I enjoyed it.
No.
I had a good time.
Um.
It'll be
Okay.
interesting to
I'm gonna
see.
go to another. Go on.
No, I just meant like
No, go on.
that too. It will be interesting to see where they go.
Oh.
Because I
Okay.
am 99% sure they are going somewhere. Like, there's no way they can't. Like, I'm waiting for it.
That's fair.
I
That's
don't
fair.
think I missed it. This is where I've missed something crucial, and you guys are like, Dari.
They were a fantastic dynamic. So I want to kind of. I'm not calling you out, Tori, but I'm kind of calling you out because I
That's not
believe
a
in
first.
either. I believe in the last one. We had a conversation about Azriel and Moore.
Yes.
And I believe that you turned around and went, they need to get their shit together and get together. And
Yes.
I just want to say,
Probably.
can we appreciate that my poker face was incredible?
I mean, I don't think there's anything that can match your poker face after doing all of Throne of Glass.
because
We
I
have
had to
already
sit
said
there
this.
and like and not scream out. Moore's not into him because Moore likes women.
Yes. Yes. We
And it
love
makes me
this.
happy because
It makes me happy too. I just wish she had a bit more ability to be herself, but
yeah,
you can understand
um,
why she doesn't with the crap she went through.
yeah,
But
100%.
hopefully with the right people, and if she can not trust them, because obviously we know that she trusts them with her life. It's just a different kind of trust almost when everybody else around you is. It's not even that everyone else around her is straight, because we know they're not. We've literally just talked about. Um,
Helium.
Thank you. Gee. It is a struggle bus today. I apologize.
There are so many names in this book. Like,
There's so many, and a lot of them are quite similar.
mhm.
It's fine. We'll get there. But I'm hoping that she manages to find someone, or at least someone again, because we obviously heard that she'd had someone in the past. We just need her to re-find somebody
Yeah.
that can help her deal with her trauma.
So my question is, when you
SJM
read
loves trauma.
that, when you read that, were you like, oh shit? Like, did you see it coming? Did you have any?
Part of me thought she may have been some form of bi or like pan equivalent, where she just didn't like him for whatever reason. Like, we know that we love Asriel as a person. Like, that's never going to change. Like, he's a cutie patootie that could kill you in like 1,000 ways. But in general, just because like someone's your best friend doesn't mean that you actually are going to fall in love with them, and just because they love you doesn't mean that you're going to like them either. But as soon as it was said, I was like, yeah, that makes way more sense, because I was thinking, like, if you've been with one, why would you not be with the other? Because it can't be that you didn't like
And
men,
I
because it's
actually,
weird.
yeah,
But
I
especially when
actually
you'd heard
really
like,
appreciated it as well. The fact that she turned around and she was like, I didn't go with Asriel because he has feelings, and that's not fair.
yeah, and the fact that there was a hint dropped in this where she'd gone with one of the guys, one of the other night. Fuck only knows who. There was too many of them. But basically, she'd gone with them, and in the morning, Feyre was like, "She doesn't look like she had a good night. Like, that's not what I look like after." Like, you can have that kind of thought, and you was like, I wonder." And I kind of had a little bit of a thought, but being me, I was too busy binging and listening to whatever was actually going on.
Yeah,
I wish she just felt like she could tell them,
but
but
I
I've
also,
been there. Like, you can't override that part of your brain that doesn't let you say something.
I also think
Um,
it's very much like she said, she knew that if she admitted that she liked women, that they would just kind of like her family would just be like, we don't care, this is not what you do. So she knew that she had to do what she did to be unclean, which I hate. I hate more story. I hate more, like, I love more story and I love more, but like
I hate her family.
it
I
just
want
it
to like
it makes me rage. And then the fact that you hear the fact that she was like, I went with Cassian because I knew that like this was a thing and I need to make sure that like I
it
was
wouldn't be
sullied.
written off.
And then like she turned around and said, I didn't do it with Azriel because I knew he had feelings and that's not fair. And then when everything happened, the trauma was there and she hurt him. And then she felt like she couldn't go back. And I'm like, I get it. I understand it. I don't agree with it. And I'm like, I hate it. Look, like, it's really difficult because I don't always want to see, like, I don't want to see homophobia in my fantasy because it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
We're in a fantastical world made of fear and magic.
Especially when like there's other courts that literally don't give a shit.
And
But
I
then
get like it's creating like it's creating some form of like backstory for more and you're getting her trauma and you're getting this, that, and the other.
but her dad is shit enough that you could have had that without this.
Yeah.
Like, her
But
dad
also
just
I
could have
appreciate
said,
having,
"You are my only daughter. You have to marry for us to give heirs, etc., etc., etc." Like, that in and of itself
but
would.
also but also I also appreciate that I appreciate we get a bisexual character and a character who's sapphic in the sense of we know that if we get more story, it will most likely be with another woman
Yeah.
or another female, which I love, and I'll be very interested to see if that happens. But yeah,
Was
um,
sorry, was there not another High Lord that was actually with a he had a male consort?
yeah,
I'm sure there was another
he had
one.
a male lover.
I knew there was at least, yeah. I feel like it was kind of like SGM's way of being like, look, across the board it's fine. It's this specific bit, which at least it isn't widespread. but
No, I
also
know. It's a
no.
difficult line because I feel like you get conflict for something that delves into a lot of trauma for a lot of LGBT
Yeah,
people.
this hit close
And
to home for me.
yeah, it's difficult. And I think, I don't get me wrong, I think that she did it really, really well. And I love Moore as a character, and obviously I love the representation. Um, and honestly, when I was reading this for the first time, like obviously, I was out, but I'd never been with anyone, so I was like, oh my god, she's yay, because we love the representation.
Yes.
But as I go older, um, it's the same. There are certain tropes that I see in books to do with LGBT or women's rights, in the sense of, in like fantasy, or in this is really, really fucking nation. I do apologize. D&D YA, like YA
Okay.
surrounding the D&D game. It's constantly about sexism, which I understandable, because the D&D space was sexist for a very, very long time. But also, I know that happens. And I know that it's not like women aren't accepted in those spaces. I don't want to read about it sometimes. I want
Yeah.
something that feels a bit like more. I want fun. And sometimes I don't want trauma. And I don't want to be reminded that, hey, you're not welcome in certain spaces. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was my little ramble. I do apologize, guys.
It's okay.
Um,
You can ramble away.
we will go with the book and the cauldron, because obviously the book they already had, because the book they got in the last book.
Yeah.
And then it was basically like kind of figuring out, we get Nesta. Nesta has taken something from the cauldron. That's a big thing. Also, I really appreciate that Nesta was like, no, you're taking something from me, I'm taking something back. Like,
And that it gave to Elaine was
yeah.
interesting too.
So let's talk about it. So we don't get a lot about what Nesta's powers are. We know she's got powers, but
Yeah.
you don't really see what they are. They're not really revealed. Um,
No.
whereas Elaine turns out to be a seer,
Yep.
which I
A,
love.
a complicated kind of twisty turny. Can we
Yeah.
describe this year? But I liked it. It was cool.
But I love the fact that, like, she very clearly didn't know what was going on. She just had these things in her head, and everyone was like, "Oh fuck, she's insane." And then it turns out, oh no, she's not insane. She's just like got a lot
Trying
going
the
on.
fuck to deal with all of this crap. At the same time as trying to deal with actual trauma, she can see more shit than she thought she could.
Yeah. But it's really interesting to see those two kind of become these powerful beings, and seeing what they are and what they have. Um, what was your opinion on kind of anything with this? Because
Um,
that was very vague. I do apologize.
no, it's okay. Um, I feel like when they first started to, or not first started, but when they kind of realized what they could do with the cauldron, and like the whole once you've been remade thing will help to cancel out the powers of the cauldron. So they were like, oh, the three of us. And then they were like, oh, no, wait, there's four of us. Cool. There's four of us that have been remade. Maybe the four of us can do something. And then you got Elaine there and she was like, nope, I'm out. Nope, nope. And like, I can't remember if she had a full on breakdown, but I remember her not being able to like do anything on the battlefield. They were like, okay, you go stay in
I
the
think that was
campsite, like you be protected, you be safe.
I think that was
Um,
after Grayson,
yes.
which also,
Also,
fuck him, and not in the nice way.
no, but also he did actually fight at the end, which was interesting because I didn't
No,
think he was going to
still,
show
he
up.
was a dick.
He was an absolute cat. He was an absolute asshole. Um, so yeah, it was like they had four of them, and then like she was at the sidelines, and then it was like slowly they were like trying to figure out how they could still do it, and then it was like all of those pieces that we were talking about before, all having their own little backup plans and trying to like figure out what they could do. Pardon me, sorry. And I remember Nesta and Ferris standing at the edge of the battlefield with Mor, and then them all being like defeated, and them being like, "Mor, go help! Like you haven't used any of like your powers yet. Like go give them like a brand new like lease of life. Like help them out."
That's when Farah was going to go to cereal.
Yeah,
She was
and
trying to
then
get more away.
she left. Like Mor went, and then she left Nesta, and then nobody knew where the fuck she was, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And then at the back of that, that's when I think when Amryn arrived, and then honestly, that whole bit, I was just like,
Yeah,
I didn't
Amryn.
know who to like try and follow because in my head I was just like, I need to protect them all,
Yeah,
and this doesn't work.
Amryn came after because they had kind of figured out about Nesta. So Amryn came to help after Mor and Farah had had their big to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole thing, like the thing with going to see Grayson, and then obviously Highburn walking in. And then it all just kind of went downhill from there. Like it was constant. Like this war is basically war. Like I can see why the acronym has war in the title. Like it literally went from one extreme to the next. And just as I thought I was getting my head around it and trying to figure out where I thought things were going, more shit happened. And once again, I was wrong.
Yeah. The next thing I guess Amryn's betrayal, kind of betrayal, because we legitimately you sat there because I completely forgot about this part. So when Amryn kind of like deceived Farah and was like, "Oh, we're going to do this," and then Farah gets sucked into it, so she has the sense of like, "Oh, this is happening," and then it turns out that Amryn is kind of like dealing with things and doing this in the sense of like she had her reasons and she's basically going to sacrifice herself. I felt like I had like I was looking this way, then I was looking that way, then it was like holy shit.
Yeah.
It was
I
intense.
it was all intense. Like I think at 3 or 4 different points, 3 or 4 different characters were going to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And each time you know that the other people in the group would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like there's a better way." And the fact that like 2 or 3 of them tried to
Yeah.
sacrifice themselves, and like Amryn was very fucking close. And so
So
was
was
Reese.
Reese. Reese
Like
did it.
the two of them, I think both potentially did it. Like I'm not quite certain that Amryn didn't die and they didn't both like find each other and like pull each other back, or Reese didn't pull her back or whatever. I know they all did like blood and stuff, but I'm not entirely sure that Reese was actually dead enough for that to have been needed. I
No,
don't
he
know.
was dead.
Dead? Oh.
He was the same as Farah in the first book.
Yeah, I don't know. I always assumed from reading it that Amryn brought him back though. Like I didn't
No, the High
read it as
Lords.
the blood read them back. That'll be
So
interesting to see if the pair of them have powers of everything then.
so
I don't know
I
if he'll.
I read so obviously I read this yesterday. So what
Yes.
happened was Reese gave his power. He died. Died.
Died.
Um, Farah held on to the bond and begged him to stay, which is why he stopped and didn't walk into the beyond. And he asked for Amryn back, is how I read it.
Yeah.
Um,
I just know that I was very upset with Amryn and with Reese.
yeah, that's valid. So yeah, Reese died. That was sad. I don't
Did
really
not
want.
want it to happen.
Yeah, I don't want to talk
But
about it too much
but
because
but they're here.
no.
But
And
I am
then
very interested now that I've read that the wrong way around, or now that I know what happened. Do you know if both the Lady and the Lord of Night can now do all of the powers? Oh,
I
I
mean,
just opened it as
I don't
669.
think that's an evil genius for SGM. I think it's a that's how the pages fell when they were formatting because I don't think she gets that much say in how the pages are formatted from what I know about publishing. But also, a fantastic like coincidence.
And on 669, they all give blood. I'm also agreeing with you in that the formatting isn't so much on her, but it is very, very cool that that's how the
Yeah.
pages equate.
Yeah, I feel like let's just talk about some cool things. Like we find out that there's such a thing as a firebird. That's cool.
Also, I know that we've mentioned it before because it isn't just a spring court thing, but I will never not be happy. I don't know how that's supposed to work sentence wise, but you know what I mean. I will never not be happy that not all of the lords make all of their subjects pay money.
Yeah.
Like the fact that this is a spring court thing, not an every court thing, is fantastic. I love it. And also, I really hope we get to see the elf that was in spring that left with her nephews.
Alice.
Thank you. Because I know that
Elf?
obviously, like, she'd left.
Elf?
Nymph thing. My brain can't.
Fae. Let's still call it just Fae.
My brain is not working.
It's fine,
We know
don't worry.
this. Because I think at one point was there not like a comment or a note or something that she knew that she couldn't like be seen as being there and knowing her.
Well,
And I was like, oh, I think it
yeah,
was Autumn, wasn't it?
Sarah turned around and said, "Don't let them know that you know me. There's a blood ruby with my name on it."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, you fucked."
But the blood rubies are gone.
Blood rubies are gone.
Although I did find it hilarious that one of the girls just kept theirs. They were like, "That's mine now.
Amren.
That's mine."
Amren was attached.
Just
yeah,
a paperweight.
yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that needs to be discussed.
I do wonder if Asriel will like finally get closure and like move on. Like I feel like somebody needs to fucking tell him to just like it is not happening. Because as much as sorry, I'm going back the way, but as much as like we know she's never encouraged it, she's obviously not done quite enough to discourage it either. But that's not on her. Like he just needs to get over it. Like it's been long enough that if she had wanted it, as much as I know I said last book, like they need to get their shit together. Like now that I know why,
He
I
needs
feel
to
like
get his
if
shit
it,
together.
yeah, I was like if she had had any inclination, she's known them for long enough that she would have put some form of feeling out there. Like
Yeah.
when they'd been drinking or when she'd been sober, like after battles, like whatever. However that thing happened.
You just
Oh, did I freeze?
one
Or did
thing
you freeze?
about this so everyone. Hello, have I gone?
You're back. I think.
Hi.
Hi. Are you back?
Is that better? Hi.
Hi. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
Sorry.
Cool.
I was panicking there because I was like, is this me that's gone?
Yeah. Why are you apologizing? Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I
So
died earlier, a minute in.
not literally.
Not literally.
What was I saying? No, so readers. My internet apparently just it wants to be homophobic. So readers is talked about, and every time that it is being said before, I just thought it was a bar, and then this reread, I noticed that Moore turns around and says, "Readers is a good place for people like her because
Yeah.
they are of like mind," and I'm like, wait, is Readers a gay bar? So
That's
now
what I
I'm just
picked it up
thinking
as.
if it is my local gay bar that I go and see drag queens, and because I know that Az and Cassian go to this bar quite often, now I want to see Az and Cassian in drag.
I
Which
want
I
that
think they would
novella.
do. Cassian would be well up for it.
Oh, 100%. I bet you Az would be really pretty too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There has to
Anyway,
be some form of fan fiction out there.
there will be. There will be. You're not allowed to go looking for it just yet.
Emma, homework.
Um. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to discuss?
um,
I feel like we've kind of.
I think we've touched on most things.
I also think that we've left out a lot, but there's a lot in this book, and I don't want to be talking about it for like 3,000 years.
I hope that we get more of Nesta. What a shame. I'm sure you will hate what you find. Yeah, I want to find out more about Nesta Cassian. I want to find out more about Lucian and his dad, like bio dad, not shitty dad.
Yeah.
I want to find out more about Eris because I think Eris's plot in the future could be interesting. Like, I don't think Eris will be as shitty as her dad. I'm hoping he won't be. Hoping, obviously. I'm interested about the open border thing, and actually, the one thing I did want to mention. Fuck, what are their names? Hold on, it's right at the start, so we don't need to go very far. The two Fae that fought and then went and hid on their island.
Oh,
That their
yes.
island.
Yep. No, I know who you're on about.
If anybody can remember, put it in the thing. But basically, the
Her
fact
name
that they
begins
were
with an M.
like, the fact, Marion.
Miriam, something like that.
Anyway, the fact that they were like, we're going to go on an island and we're going to keep out the bad guys, and they did such a good job on their wardings that the good guys couldn't find them, and that they flew over the top of them and they still didn't know, that I was literally in hysterics, and I can't believe I forgot to mention it because honestly, thanks, babe. The fact that they like sailed in with like Lucian and their dad.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that because that's
Sorry, my
that's a big,
brain's just like caught up on shit. The fact that they all turned up together, and I was like, oh. And then the fact they went straight into like banter and that they hadn't left each other for ages, and they were just like, well done on
and the fact
on your.
that like her dad, like their dad was like
They
on.
named their ships after the
Yeah,
three girls.
I mean, I know he was shit in the first one and pretty shit in the second one, but like,
But like the fact that he went to actually go help when he found out. Like, I
yeah,
mean, that's a good redemption arc. Like, even if you're shit, like turning around and trying to be better,
yeah,
that's all you've got to try.
yeah,
And the fact that obviously he stood up and he tried. Um,
valid.
I mean, I genuinely, as much as I think I could genuinely reread all of SGM. Like, I know we've still got some to go, but I do feel like with you guys, when I reread it, I will pick up more because there's so much happening. Like, I mean, look
I
at
will say,
how chunky that is. Like, and that's constant. Like, there's nothing. I think it was Becca. It was maybe Becca or Emma that I'd messaged. I think I messaged them both at different times. And it was literally like, this hasn't stopped. How am I supposed to stop this to have a shower or like go to work? Like, because there's no good place. Like I found with Cassie, when you read a Cassie Clare book, you stop in the middle of a chapter at POV change because the end of chapters don't stop there. Don't stop there. These just go straight. Not quite so straight, but you know what I mean.
Okay. I feel like we can wrap up what we like everything that's happened. So let's go on to my favorite part of it, predictions and what you would like to see. So,
This is even harder. It's not even the same story. Like I don't know what happens after this trilogy.
okay, so do you want a few hints?
Or even like a synopsis or something. Yeah,
Okay.
tell me something. This will be fun.
Frost and Starlight is a bridge book.
Okay.
So it's still these characters.
Fantastic.
It's bridging to the continuation series. And the
Which starts with
continuation
Silver
series,
Flames, right?
yes, Silver Flames. And do you want to know who leads that book?
Yes. Go for it.
Nestor and Cassian.
Okay.
So, now having that knowledge, because you would have known that knowledge had you picked the book up to read the synopsis. You would that's
Yeah,
information
I
you would know.
literally have not looked
No,
back.
I know.
Like, I literally have done nothing.
So think of
Worst homework prep ever.
the way I think of Frost and Starlight is essentially the Christmas episode.
Nice.
That's how
I
I
love
think
those
about it.
episodes. I love those
So
episodes.
yeah. So what are you expecting going forward? What do you want to see going forward? Now knowing that it's kind of a bridge
So
to
it's a family book before a different POV, basically.
it's kind of it's the same as this one, but it's just adding a few extra POVs to kind of bridge the gap.
Fair. I mean, I've already said obviously Nesta Cassian. Farrah Reese continuing. Potential kids down the line, since we now have an idea of what baby boy looks like. That's mean if we don't get him. Elaine dealing with some form of trauma. More dealing with trauma. Can we just add dealing with trauma for like psychiatrists for like everyone?
Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird.
I mean,
But
you guys
it
are
feels like a Christmas. Tell me that I'm wrong. That it feels like a Christmas episode. I'm just saying.
like you guys. Some of our group are literally doing Christmas next week, is it? So I mean, it makes sense.
This week, that has already
This
started.
week, oh, I just knew it wasn't me because I've still got to read all this shit. And I need Azriel to do something and not mope.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'd love to see Dad redemption, but that's not going to happen. And maybe Human Land, Fairy Land, like trying to figure out what's going to happen there.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like that could be over 2 books rather than just over the next one.
Yeah.
I'm pointing that out, but I don't know where we're going.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of because this is kind of like the final in this trilogy. This is an
Yes.
encasement in the trilogy. Did you think it was a satisfying ending?
Yes. If that was the last one, I'd have been happy enough. Pardon me, sorry. Like there's some bits that I would like to know more, but there's a lot of my favorite books that even if you get to the end, you're never going to know everything, and a
Yeah.
lot of authors like to leave you figuring out what you want to have happened. So yeah. Yes, I would obviously love more because there's a lot, as we've just said, that I would like to know. But if that was the end and like she'd said it's a trilogy, I wouldn't have minded.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I am glad that there's more.
And what I will say is, because we haven't talked really about the smut, because the smut's good, but yeah. This is technically new adult. Silver Flames
Yeah.
is when she delved into adult.
Okay.
So be prepared.
I mean, I haven't listened to any of these without headphones
Hello?
after I. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no. I can hear you. Oh, you're back.
I don't know why we're having all the issues today. I do apologize, guys.
Everything hates me.
And not just you, apparently.
Us.
Yay. But yeah, I think that's everything, really.
Yeah.
There's probably lots that we've missed.
Yeah, I was just saying when she died that I haven't listened to any of these without headphones since we started having sex in TOG. Just because I was like, yeah, let's not do that. Let's just keep the headphones in. It's safer.
I can't wait for you to hear one of my favorite stories from one of the Crescent City books about something that happened when I was listening to the audiobook, and I will explain it when we get to that book because it's my favorite thing because it's so stupid and it was just yeah.
I love that.
I'm really nervous and excited to reread Silver Flames because I've only read Silver Flames and Frost and Starlight once. I'm pretty sure I've only read this one once as well, because when Silver Flames came out, I couldn't be bothered to reread them all, so I read synopsises on the first 3 books because I was like,
I have
I
so
don't
done
need
that.
this.
I have so done that.
But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for joining. We are hopefully going to have the live show for the next one quite early. Fingers crossed. I'm not promising anything because it's me.
And me.
Yeah, but the next one is very, very short.
It's a 3.5 hour audio. I looked earlier today when you speed it up.
So,
Or to my speed. So, I mean, if it's Becca, that's like half that again.
let's have a look at how long it will be for me.
I should have said 3.5.
Sorry, guys. This is thrilling.
We're just being nosy.
Um,
I love it. 3 hours and 13 minutes for me.
2 hours 33. That's 2.5 speed.
Mine's at 2. And that's the non-dramatized one, don't worry. I'm
Yeah.
going for the normal. The
If I
first
was
set.
listening to it at 3, it would be like 2 hours. So this one's not gonna, like, Frost and Starlight's gonna be a very, very short live show.
I mean, it is us, but also
We've been quite good with this series.
we have been much better with this series.
Like, if you think about how many technical issues we've had today, and it's still at an hour and a half.
Yeah. You need to take about 10 minutes of that off.
Yeah. Right. I think we're done.
Thank you
So
for having me and helping
no,
and doing all of the, the hard part of actually clicky buttons.
very hard. So difficult.
Much hard.
Yeah. Oh, the pain. Oh, the pain. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.